The man accused in the triple homicide is 28-year-old Patrick Dombrowski of Kitchener, seen here being transported by detectives from Waterloo Regional Police Headquarters. Dombrowski was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. This morning, the suspect was taken to provincial court in Kitchener, where he was arraigned in front of a judge.
It was 11:25 a.m. on February 3rd, 1992. A busy morning at the Waterloo Glove Factory on Dotsert Court near Conestoga Mall. As the 30 leather cutters and sewers worked inside the factory, Patrick Dombrowski parked his red Nissan outside. Armed with a semi-automatic rifle, 60 rounds of ammunition, and a large knife, Dombrowski walked inside the building where he had been employed as a leather cutter for 8 years. He was angry he hadn't been called back to work after his second suspension over an issue regarding the stacking of gloves to be sewn. He also had become more disgruntled in his private life. After losing his mother at age 4, he had recently lost his father to cancer and another family member to a car accident. He calmly walked past fellow employees, targeting only those responsible for his suspension. Within minutes, he fired 6 shots, killing 3 people. The Moore family had owned the glove factory since 1915. Brothers Randy and Greg were president and vice president. Greg was first to be killed. Greg was known for being gentle and helpful. He loved to play squash and sponsored a tournament at a nearby club. If you mentioned that you couldn't drive a child to a dance lesson, he would have said, "Let me do that for you," said a longtime friend, Jim McIntyre. Greg was shot in the chest, and as he fell forward, he was shot again in the back at close range. Next shot was Elizabeth Travassos, 43, a skilled sewer in the plant. She had complained to her supervisor, Larry Strack, about Dombrowski refusing to properly stack the leather pieces she had sewed. Both she and Dombrowski were paid according to how much work they did. She was hit from 6 meters away with a single shot in the right shoulder that fractured her spine and damaged her lung. In late 2016, when Dombrowski was first up for parole, Elizabeth's husband, Valdemir, said he is still haunted about what his wife of 20 years must have felt facing her killer. "I wish I could have taken that pain away from her," he said. Their son, Roger, who in 2016 was 38 years old and a successful Toronto drummer, not surprisingly still struggles with the loss of his mother. Larry Strack, the cutting floor supervisor, was the 3rd victim. Patrick Dombrowski and Larry Strack were distant cousins and had known each other their entire lives. Both men were from Barry's Bay, a small community about 4 hours from Kitchener-Waterloo. Strack had helped Patrick get the job at the glove factory. Larry's brother John Strack said in 2002 he was still haunted by an image of his brother running as Dombrowski calmly took aim, fired once and missed, then fired again and hit him in the middle of the back from 60 meters away. Witnesses said when the shooting was over, Patrick Dombrowski walked calmly to a small red car, climbed in and drove away. He drove straight to the police and turned himself in. When he stood trial in 1993, Dombrowski pleaded not guilty on the grounds of insanity. While this defense was rejected, the trial revealed Dombrowski was a loner whose life consisted of working, sleeping, and hunting deer. "I couldn't stop," he testified. "I just kept going. I wanted to stop. For some reason, I didn't." Dombrowski was convicted of murder and sent to jail for life with no chance of parole for 25 years. Greg Moore's brother, Randy, was interviewed in 2012 on the 20th anniversary of that tragic day. Randy was in the washroom during the killings and had no idea what was happening. He later learned he was at the top of Dombrowski's kill list. "He first checked my office, then went across the hall to my brother's office 8 feet away," Randy Moore said. "By the time I got out of the washroom, he was getting in his car after he shot everybody. It's only by God's amazing grace that I'm here." Randy Moore has since sold Ontario Glove. The new owner has moved the factory to Kitchener. During the 2012 interview, 3 evergreens can be seen towering over the former glove factory building. They were planted there to remember the victims. The article read, "The 3 white spruces have flourished, suggesting life moves on despite the tragedy." At some point since the 2012 interview, the trees have been cut down. I guess yet another sign that life really does move on. In late 2016, just shy of 25 years since the killings, Dombrowski came up for parole. Thankfully for the families, he was denied bail.
Patrick Dombrowski, the man convicted in the Ontario glove shooting nearly 25 years ago, has been denied parole. The shooting happened in February 1992. 39-year-old Greg Moore, 43-year-old Elizabeth Travassos, and 33-year-old Larry Strack were killed inside the Waterloo plant. A parole hearing was held in Kingston this week. The brother of one of the victims tells CTV News Dombrowski was denied both day and permanent parole. Right after the shooting, Dombrowski drove himself to police headquarters and turned himself in. During the trial, court heard Dombrowski was a disgruntled employee.
In September of 2021, after living more than half of his life behind bars, Dombrowski, at age 58, was granted the chance to leave prison for a few hours a week under escort. After being held in Kingston for many years, he is now in Victoria, BC. He said he has no intention of returning to Ontario once he is released on full parole, which his parole officer said is likely years away. If Dombrowski succeeds with weekly community service visits, the earliest he can apply for more unescorted prison absences is in September of 2022. Not far away, we'll have to see what develops. Larry Strack was laid to rest in Barry's Bay, Ontario. Greg Moore is in Parry Sound. He lies with his father, who died in 1994. Elizabeth Travassos, who had owned a convenience store before going to work at the glove factory and sold it for fear of being robbed, is buried in Kitchener. I was able to stop by and pay my respects. May they all rest in peace.